Good evening. My name is Harry L. Corsair, and I would like to welcome everyone to our virtual office at WFG. WFG stands for World Financial Group. We're in alliance with over 75% Fortune 500 financial institutions, banks, and insurance companies. We've surpassed companies that have been around for years, companies such as Charles Schwab and Smith Barney. And today we're recognizing the top 1% of over 8,000 broker-dealers in the country. This evening, you're about to witness a story of a well-established company with over $548 billion in assets and in the process of revolutionizing the entire financial services industry. With the philosophy of no family left behind, we're rewriting the record books on how financial products are distributed in the country and in the world. So I want to introduce to you two individuals highly qualified to tell our company's story. The last individual that you're going to hear from tonight is Christopher Schloeman. Christopher was in the telecommunications industry, and he was doing very well for himself. He realized that every time he would exceed his expectations, the bar would be increased, but his pay wouldn't in corporate America. He was introduced to this company by his brother-in-law, Ed Milet, one of the leaders in this industry. And Christopher was recognized as the MVP of the company at our convention with over 440,000 associates in attendance. He's in business with his wife, Michelle, and he's built an empire for himself and is overseeing many offices across the country. He's a CEO, marketing director, earning six figures. And he's doing very well for himself. Christopher Schloeman. Now, the first individual that you're going to hear from tonight, well, let's just say she lights up any room that she walks into, even if it's on Zoom. This spectacular woman has a background in personal development, empowering women, and is a best-selling book on Amazon with a book called Motherhood's Not for Punks. This amazing individual has seen all sides of this business. First, as a beneficiary. Secondly, as a leader and builder in this company. My mentor, Senior Marketing Director, Patrina Wisdom.
All right, thank you so much for that beautiful introduction. I want to welcome everybody out here tonight and to our Zoom presentation. I'm super excited to tell you a little more about who we are as a company, what we do for families, how we do it, and most importantly, how we might help, support, or impact your life, because that's really what's important, right? It's about you and your dreams. So before I go into that, I just want to give you a little background on myself, because I believe it's important not just to understand and know concepts, but also to know who you're hearing the information from. And I've actually been with this company for 20 years. Can you believe that? I can't. I'm not old enough. But truly, I was introduced to this company back in 2000. And at the time, my husband and I were doing well. My husband was in corporate America. I was already an entrepreneur in the healing arts and creative arts realms. And we knew how to make money up to that point, but we didn't ever learn how to save or invest money or have our money working for us. So we sat down with someone from World Financial Group and we learned the concepts that I get the honor of sharing with you today. These concepts completely changed our life because now we didn't just have these lofty goals and dreams, we also had a written financial plan. So we did our investments, our insurances, protected our family. At the time we had 2 houses, 2 cars, we had 3 children, we had, kind of a big life. And here we are protecting our cell phones and our cars and all of the other things. And we hadn't protected the number one asset that we have, which was our incomes and our family. So we did that. We put that all in place. And my husband was so incredibly impressed by the mission and the vision of our company, the mission being that we want to build financially independent families. And then the motto of no family left behind, because that's what happened to us. We got left behind, right? My husband actually came from a background of a middle-class family. Mom was a teacher, dad was in the military. They owned homes, they had degrees. You know, you look at them and you think they've got it all together. Me, on the other hand, I was raised with a single mom. We moved around a lot. We didn't have a lot of money, so I didn't learn any financial education either, not until we sat down with someone from the company. So at that point, my husband decides to become a part of the company on a part-time basis. He goes through the interview process. They're impressed. They hire him. Fast forward about 2 years, he decides to come full-time in this very business because he had replaced the income part-time on a part-time basis that he was making full-time at his managerial job at the Las Vegas Hilton. I'm sure everybody out there has been to Las Vegas, right? So he was moving up in management at that hotel. So when he came full-time in this business, you know how we are, ladies. We're like, I know this isn't going to work, and it's not going to have the horsepower to really get us where we're going to go unless I come on board with you as a supporter. So started off as a client and then came on board as a supporter, but I never went in the field. I never sat with clients. I didn't do that part. I was more like the culture cultivator. I was the one who brought the team together and, you know, entertained the clients and did the back end administrative stuff. And together we built an incredible business. We were over 6 figures. We were getting lots of recognition, winning all the trips with World Financial Group that they offer for free with us and our families, and living what we like to call the WFG dream. Everything was amazing. But then you hit 2008. Everybody take a breath, because I'm sure we all remember where we were when the fall of 2008 happened. So at the time, we were in Las Vegas, and it was really, really bad in Las Vegas. I mean, neighborhoods for miles just empty, people losing their homes, the market crashes. And unfortunately, my husband put a little bit too much of his own identity into how well he took care of his family, but also how well he did in his business. And I truly believe that a lot of men do this, right? They wrap their identities into those things. So unfortunately, my husband had a little bit of a downward spiral and ended up falling into a depression. And you fast forward about a year, in January of 2009, my husband woke up one morning, put on his suit and tie, grabbed his briefcase, gave me and my 3 children a kiss goodbye, and he walked out the door, told us he loved us, walked out the door, and knew that he wasn't coming home. So he went missing. He went missing for 24 hours, and the next morning I found out that my husband had committed suicide. Yeah, take a deep breath. Overnight, I became a single mom, head of household, had to not only take care of the family and the finances, but I also inherited our financial business. Now, on top of that, I actually found out I was pregnant the same day that my husband passed. So this picture that you're looking at right now is me pregnant after my husband had passed, and really having to sit down and figure out how to put the pieces back together and move forward. Well, fortunately, because of my association with World Financial Group, I had savings, I had investments, and I had life insurance that paid out even though my husband passed the way that he did. And I'm forever grateful to this company for those things. But more important than the benefit that itself, the money, was that I had the financial education, the knowledge, and the know-how to know what to do with that payout when I received it. So that was 2009, right? Fast forward, I've completely been able to recreate my life, start businesses, and do a whole incredible, like all kinds of incredible things in my life. Travel, homeschool my children, and really live the life that I wanted to design. And none of that would have happened had I never been introduced to this company. So I'm super fired up to share with you a little bit more about the company and what we do. And I'll tell you, for me, it's really about the mission and how we impact families. Again, I come from the healing arts and personal development background, so I'm all about transformation, right? I like to travel the world. I'm a total hippie, sprinkle my magic, and like bring joy to people's lives. So hopefully you're bringing some joy here, right? So what I want you to think about as I'm going through these concepts, because aside from feeling good, I'm about to give you some information that can absolutely change your life. The way you think about money, the way you spend your money, the way you save your money, and also how you design your future. I want you to be thinking about who you know, who needs to hear this information. Do they need to make more money? Do they need to get out of debt? Like, all of these things. Are they looking for an opportunity to take back control of their money or their time? I want you to also think about, could this information help you and your family, right? So sit up, perk up, take some notes, really listen attentively. We won't be with you very long, but in this short period of time, we can absolutely transform your mindset and your reality. And then lastly, I want you to also think about, are you intrigued by this business? Because we're actually here helping people build their businesses within the confines of our company with our system, similar to a McDonald's or a Subway or any kind of a franchise type business that has a proven system. But aside from just the system, we have the support, the mentorship, the coaching, and we have a lot of fun. So WFG really helps families from all walks of life build better futures. And I want to show you how we can possibly help you build yours. So the first thing we want to talk about is, who is World Financial Group? So World Financial Group is in a multi-trillion-dollar industry, financial services, right? The top industry in the whole world. There's a ton of money changing hands every single year, being moved. How much of it is going into your pocket? That would be the question, right? And we're backed by a company called Aegon. So we're partners with a company called Transamerica, which I'm sure everyone's heard of. They're out in San Francisco, and we all recognize the building on the slide. But our parent company is Aegon, and they have $548 billion in assets. So Aegon was based out of the Netherlands in Asia. They wanted to have a presence here in the United States. Rather than coming here and building a company, they decided to purchase World Financial Group and Transamerica. So then we became one big happy family. So with that said, this is the power and strength that we have behind our company. And we're not a captive company. We're actually a marketing company. Of our situation is that we don't sell any products. How many financial companies do you know that don't sell any products? The power of our system is that we get to go shop the market. We find out your goals, your dreams, your timeline, your budget, and we're going to go out and shop the market for the products and services that are going to help you get there faster. We don't care if it's Nationwide, Pacific Life, Voya, Everest. We have so much strength in selection with our company, and we have hundreds of insurance companies, investment companies, banks, etc. in our platform. As a matter of fact, they're fighting to be on our platform because of the system that we have and the amount of volume of people that we're able to help. We're not just reserving these financial concepts and these financial services to the wealthy like most financial companies. I mean, how many of you, think about it? How many of you have had a financial company come to you and want to teach you how to become financially independent, right? If you don't have $250,000 in assets to invest or more, then you probably haven't received that call. So for us, again, our motto is no family left behind. We want to educate, we want to support and help move you towards that financial independence. And we have a whole array of products and services we can do that with. So here's the power of our system. We want to look at your 6 cornerstones of finance. We want to look at growth, right? How is your money growing and accumulating? Again, instead of us constantly working for money, how about if our money goes to work like a part-time job for us? Sounds pretty good, right? Now, while that money is growing, we also want to make sure that your money's safe. We want to protect you from the downside of the market, but also give you that upside potential and possibly even some tax advantages. I mean, how would you feel if you could keep more money in your pocket, right? Hard-earned money. And then lastly, we also want to look at your proper protection. Again, people protect all kinds of assets, but they're forgetting to protect the number one asset, which is our current income as well as our future incomes, because we're living longer and a lot of people are actually outliving their income. So if I told you there's products out there that can give you an income for life so that you know you're going to be living a lifestyle in retirement that you could be proud of, is that something that you'd want to know about? Absolutely. So the next concept I want to talk to you about is how money grows. Many of us did not get a financial education as a child. And I don't care if you came from a poor family or a wealthy family, most times money is a bit taboo and nobody's really talking about it in the homes. So what we do is we teach you how your money can grow. And this is a concept called compound interest, or the rule of 72. And Einstein is the one who's actually noted with coming up with this concept. And he realized that there's a formula. If you take 72 and divide it by the interest rate that you're earning or paying, it'll actually tell you how long it'll take for that money to double. So at 1%, which is more than the banks are actually giving us. And by the way, if you're 29 years old right now, say thank you, because you're all 29 now. And I gifted you with $10,000, but I said you can't save it. Excuse me, you can't spend it. You have to save it. Most people would go put that money in the bank. They would earn less than 1%. But at 1%, it would take 72 years for that 10,000 to turn into 20,000. But what if we could show you a way to get 10% on your money? So now you're still 29 years old and you take that 10,000 and you put it away in an account earning 10%. Your money is going to double every 7.2 years. And at 72 years old, you would have $640,000 instead of 20,000 at 101. I don't know about you, but I think I would choose that 10%. I mean, how would you want to invest your money? So access, knowledge, information, and support is what we need to get these type of returns. Now, I want you to think briefly before I go to the next slide about the reverse. How many people do you know who have credit cards that are 8, 10, 18, 28, 35% interest? This law is still working, so it's working against you. And then what happens is that the bank makes the $640,000 and you get to retirement age with a shortfall of roughly 600,000. Now you have to go back to work and work an additional 20 years, earning $30,000 per year in order to make up that shortfall. And typically, where do you make that kind of money at 65, 70 years old? Walmart, greeting, right? We want to stop this. We want to help empower you so that you can make better decisions and be really proud of the legacy that you're leaving for your family. So let's talk about some of the places where you can actually park your money, right? And how it's invested. We all know about the fixed accounts. That's the banks, the CDs, things of that nature. And it grows almost like a flat line, right? But why do people keep their money there? Because it's presumably safe. They can go visit it, right? It's accessible, it's liquid. And then people who really want to get a higher return on their money, they typically go and they put it in places like the stock market, or they have their retirement plans in their 401ks. Now that money is actually in variable accounts. So you see that little chart there? It's going up, it's going down, it's going up, it's going down. Think about it. Pre-COVID, market was doing great, right? A few weeks into COVID, market completely tanks. So when I look at this chart, I don't see the stock market. I see a heart attack. I don't know about you, but I don't have that kind of tolerance, right? And then we have a whole other category of investments that we have access to that most people don't know about. So now I want to just tell you a little bit about this indexed account. The index is when the market is going up, you get an opportunity to realize those gains. But when the market goes down, it does a downturn, you don't lose any money. It locks in, and then once the market recovers, you get an opportunity to then rebound on that money. So now it starts to look more like a stair step instead of a heart attack, right? So how would you want your money to grow? Now, first thing is, how does your money going to grow? But now let's talk about how the money is going to be taxed, because people don't really think about the taxation on their money, but there's 3 different places that the government allows you to park it, right? We have our tax now accounts, which were those fixed accounts that we talked about, your savings, CDs, things of that nature. You put your money in post-tax. As it grows, you're going to pay another tax. And then when you go to take your money, you're going to pay a 3rd tax. Did you know that? Probably not. So now let's talk about your tax later, right? Tax later, we have our employers that say, listen, don't worry about paying your taxes now. We'll go ahead and put this away for you. We'll let it grow. And then when you go to take your money out, then you can pay your taxes. And it sounds like a great deal, right? Challenge being that there's access limits and there's also contribution limits, right? You can't access your money until you're 59 and a half, or you get taxed and penalties. But did you also know that there's a 70.5 rule? The 70.5 rule states that if you don't start taking distributions by 70.5, whether you need it or not, taxes and penalties. So the government's going to get their money either way. That's not your money until you take it out. So let me ask you a question. If you're a farmer and I gave you a handful of penny seeds, let's say $10,000 worth, would you rather pay the taxes on the seed now, or would you rather pay the taxes on the harvest, maybe $400,000, $500,000? I'm pretty sure most of you would say the seed, but most of us have our money in the tax later category where we're paying on the harvest. So this is some of the education that we really want to help you understand so that you can make wise choices. One is not better than the other. You want to diversify and have your money in all of the buckets. So the last bucket we're going to talk about, again, not a lot of people understand the power of this vehicle, but these are our tax advantage products. So these are our Roth IRAs, cash value, and a life insurance policy, also 529 college plans. However, if your kid doesn't go to college, then you pay taxes. So there's all of these different little caveats. But the way that these tax advantage products work are very similar to the tax now. It's going to be your post-tax dollars. So you get your check, your money is already taxed, you put it away. But in this category, it's going to grow tax-free and you get to take your distributions tax-free. Not to mention the fact that similar to tax now, you can go visit your money, you can borrow your money from yourself and not have to pay those high interest rates. So when saving your money, you want to make sure that you're considering the effect on your taxes and also what it's going to have on your income in the long term. All right, we're going to go ahead and transition into how we help families, because most people don't plan to fail. They just fail to plan. They don't know who to go to. They don't know where to start. So we do nothing, right? So what we do is a free, absolutely complimentary financial needs analysis. It's no obligation. It's all complimentary. We sit down with you. We educate you. We look at your cash flow. Do you need to earn more money, or do you just need to manage your expenses better? I would say, and you'd probably agree, that we all need to do both. So what we do is we're able to offer people an opportunity, of course, with a rigorous process and interview. We want to make sure that you're the right type of person who has integrity and work ethic and drive and some big dreams that we can help you accomplish. But we do have an opportunity where you're able to come on board with us on a part-time basis, earn and learn at the same time, so that you can fund these plans. And Christopher's going to get a chance to go a little deeper into that. But we also want to look at your proper protection, make sure that you're covered whether you pass too soon or live too long. All right, make sure that you have the right amount. And then we want to make sure you have an emergency fund, 3 to 6 months worth of expenses put away and liquid for emergencies such as this, COVID. I mean, think about it. If you would have had 3 to 6 months worth of expenses when the quarantine hit and people were getting laid off and things of that nature, you wouldn't be stressed. It would be like a little vacation. But the truth of the matter is that most people didn't even have $1,000 saved. And we want to help with that. We also can help you with your debt. We want to consolidate it, but ultimately we'd like to eliminate it altogether. We want to help you build wealth. So again, helping your money to outpace inflation. Inflation's rising anywhere from 3 to 5% per year, but when's the last time you got a 3 to 5% raise in income? Things that make you go, right? And then once we start to build that wealth for you, I kind of like to think of this like a house, right? You want to lay the foundations, start to build some wealth, and then put the roof on the house, which would be preserving wealth. So once you build this wealth, we want to make sure it's protected with your wills, trusts, health directives, active money management, things of that nature. So again, this is our complimentary financial needs analysis. And we really encourage you, whoever invited you out tonight, if you do nothing else, sit down and take a look at your finances. Get this financial needs analysis, your financial checkup, almost like your medical checkup, and see how we might be able to fill the holes in your boat. So with that said, I hope you took some good notes and that we kind of disturbed you a little bit, excited you even more. And I get to introduce the next speaker, who absolutely is become a very important part of my life. He's been in the business, I believe, a little longer than me. I think 22 years, actually. He's got a beautiful family. He's a man of faith. And what I admire most about him is not only his love, compassion, and mindset, but his business sense. So at this time, I'm going to hand it over to Mr. Christopher Schloeman.
Patrina, thanks so much. It's so kind of you,
Yeah.
and just delighted to share tonight's forum with you. You did a tremendous job.
Thank you.
Patrina is one of those individuals that number one, I closely relate to. Her story and my story are shockingly similar. And I grew up in St. Louis, Missouri, and my father had an elective surgery that went sideways on him. And so he passed away when I was 4 years old. And 3 weeks after he passed away, my mother found out that she was pregnant, much like Patrina found out that she was pregnant right after her husband passed away. And I think maybe the difference was nobody from this company or any other company in our industry had sat down with my parents prior to and put together a financial plan and help them with these kinds of things. So we didn't have the life insurance in place. We didn't have the investments in place. My dad was a firefighter. Though he had some insurance through work, nobody had taken the time to really help them understand these things or work through these things. And so we grew up, my parents had bought a house in a middle-class area, but we grew up poor. My mother was a part-time waitress trying to raise 3 kids on her own. So I grew up with a lot of like limiting beliefs when it came to money. I used to believe that it takes money to make money. And since we didn't have any and I didn't have any, that the future for me having money didn't look real good. And I heard all the time that the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. And since I knew we weren't rich, I didn't like where the direction of that was going. And I was fortunate that I got opportunities along the way, and I learned a different way of looking at money. I learned a different perspective on things. And I admire so much an individual like Patrina, because I know firsthand from having a mother like Patrina, the strength that it takes for a woman put in that position to raise children and just be the mom and the dad, and to take care of the finances and to take care of the schooling and take care of everything else. And so I think Patrina is one of those unique individuals that's beautiful, charismatic, and yet on the inside, super strong, super independent, and very, very determined. And I'm just grateful to be in business with her. Here's a picture. This is going way back. The picture to the left here is my wife, and the picture to the right is my wife, Michelle, of almost 22 years now. And the picture to the left is my wife, Michelle, and I, and 2 of our 3 children, Jack and Lexi there. And my oldest son, Alex, was at a basketball tournament. This picture was taken the beginning of this year, the second week of January. I'll never forget it. And a lot of what was going on in social media, everybody was talking about 2020, the year of vision, the year of perfect vision, 2020, right? Isn't that what 2020 means, is to have perfect vision? And everybody had this great vision of what 2020 was going to be like for them and what this decade was going to be like for them. And then Kobe Bryant passed away and shocked everybody in Southern California. And then COVID happened. And then the quarantine happened. And then George Floyd happened and the civil unrest. And it's like everybody had these great visions and these great goals and these great ideas for what 2020 was going to look like. And it took this massive left turn that nobody anticipated, nobody saw coming. And so I'm here to talk a little bit about, in the second half of the presentation, a little bit about, hey, where do we go from here? Where can you go from here? Or what are some things that you can do? Because certainly as terrible as COVID was, I would suggest it might not be the last time we face something like this as a country. And as much as there's been civil unrest in the country, we hope that there's real solutions, meaningful solutions for everybody. There's no guarantee that that's the case either. And so how do I protect my family and my community? How do I create a legacy for them? How do I create a sense of direction where I feel safe and secure financially in what we're doing, regardless of what the economy's happening, regardless of what's happening in our country politically, regardless of what's happening in our country health-wise? And so I want to talk a little bit about that in the next couple of slides here. I want to talk a little bit about a career path with our firm. The Patrina's half was really talking about what is it that we do for clients. If I was going to sum up what we do for clients, it's really probably the easiest way to describe it, we create a financial GPS for clients. Client tells us where do they want to get to. I want to retire at 62 years old with $4,500 a month in income. We figure out where you are today financially. What are you saving in your retirement plans at work? What do you have insurance wise on sort of stuff? We put it in a proprietary software program, and it designs a plan to say, hey, here's where you say you want to get to. Here's where you're on track to go. Here's some adjustments that we can help you make to hit your goal, right? Or somebody may say, a different couple may say, I want to retire at 67 with $6,500 a month of income. It's a different plan with a different direction, and they're starting at a different place. And so it's exciting to be able to give people a sense of direction and certainty and hope when it comes to their financial futures, where for so many families, for so many couples, for so many individuals in our country, when they think about money and savings and retirement, like these things cause stress and anxiety and worry and fear and doubt and cause friction in the relationships between many couples. And we just try and give people a real sense of direction and certainty based on real information, real facts that our software program puts together for them. I want to talk a little bit about how I got started here and a little bit about how Patrina got started here and why others have chosen a career with our firm, some of them on a part-time basis, some of them on a full-time basis. Now, I want you to just sort of look at the slide here. The very top bullet point here, it says no financial services experience necessary. I think that's super important because I had 10 years of experience in the telecommunications industry. I didn't have any experience in this industry. 95% of the agents that get started with us have no prior experience in the industry. Most of us never even considered getting into this industry. One, because we didn't have an experience, so we just hadn't thought about financial services as a potential career. And I'm here to tell you that that's okay. If you're one of these people that's on our Zoom presentation tonight, you don't have any experience in the industry. However, you're somebody who has more room in their bank account, and you wouldn't be offended if you were earning more money, or if there was an opportunity to supplement your income an extra $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 a month on a part-time basis, or somebody that was open to considering a career transition if the money was right, somebody that was looking for maybe a greater sense of autonomy in their career, where they had more control over decisions, where they could maybe determine what days they were working and what they weren't, what time they were going in and what time they got off, so that they could sort of create their career around their family responsibilities and obligations. Somebody that wanted a sense of a voice in their work and wanted some autonomy, wanted to be able to have some sort of control over their results. Somebody who just wanted the opportunity really to earn what they thought they were worth. Somebody who's tired of being under somebody else's thumb, or asking somebody if I can have a pee-pee break, or can I have 15 extra minutes on my lunch break, or can I have Thursday morning off so I can watch my kids' recital. Like, that's where I was at. I had a great career in telecommunications after 10 years with AT&T and Verizon, but I was looking for more. And so I didn't have the experience, but here's a couple of things that fascinated me. The second bullet point, I was fascinated by the fact that I could start part-time. So I had a good career prior to coming here. I was a six-figure income earner prior to coming here. I wasn't going to walk away from that career and start a new industry hoping it would be better. But I love the fact that I was able to start part-time and just sort of try it on, just sort of go through the training classes, sort of based on my experiences here. I was able to make decisions. Do I want to invest more time? Do I want to consider this more seriously? Do I want to maybe consider transition into a full-time career? It was based on my experiences here. I made decisions like, do I like the people that I'm working with here better than the people I'm working with at my corporate job, or do I prefer those people? Do I like the leadership I'm getting here, or do I prefer the management that I'm getting at the corporate job? Do I like the income potential here, or do I prefer the salary structure there? Do I like the sense of autonomy here? Do I like the sense of purposefulness? Do I like the fact that I sincerely get a chance to make a difference in people's lives when I sit down with clients and help them to learn about this stuff? Or do I prefer my corporate job? And just throughout my own experiences here of starting part-time and attending like 2 training classes a week, and working with somebody who is mentoring me and teaching me the business hands-on in addition to the training classes, I began to just really appreciate what I was doing here and what I was learning. And I just decided over a period of time, like, I think this is what I want to do for a career. I love the fact, if we go down about 5 bullet points, leadership development and mentoring business model. I love the fact that there was a real system and an environment and a culture of leadership here. And it was hands-on, and there was people with years more of experience in the industry, but just as importantly, years more of experience in leadership, years more experience of being a good husband, years more experience of being a great father that were mentoring me and coaching me throughout the process. I've been here 21 years now, and I have had consistently mentors and coaches pouring into me over the years, and my results are a byproduct not only of the work that I've done, but of the men and women that have mentored me and coached me and helped me over the years. And still to this day, 21 years in, I still have a mentor, I still have a coach that I talk to 4, 5, 6 times a week, sometimes multiple times a day. And without their guidance and direction and involvement in my life and my career, I just know I wouldn't be in the same place that I am today. We're pretty happy with where we are. If you look at the very bottom of the first column there, it talks about the strength on your side and the power of choice. And that's really like when we sit down with clients, Patrina said there's hundreds of companies we do business with, insurance and investment companies. It's almost like the best example I can give you. It's almost like this Amazon Prime platform that we have access to, our agents have access to for our clients. So we're able to go on this platform and find the very best company with the very best products for each individual client. Because no matter how good a Nationwide is, or no matter how outstanding a Prudential is, there's no one company that has the best products and the best services for each and every one of our clients, because our clients are so different. Their needs are different. Their goals are different. Their risk tolerances are different. So it's great to have access to all of these companies and all these products and services. If we go to the top of the right-hand column here, there's a couple of things I want to touch on real quick. As diverse as our product selection is, you see here it's an equal opportunity for all. What does that mean? That means we're the #1 broker dealer in the country. Out of all the other companies in our industry, we're the #1 for women, and we have been for 7 consecutive years as rated by an independent company in our industry. We have more registered representatives with our company that are female advisors than any company in the industry. That's been going on for 7 years. We don't plan on giving up the #1 spot anytime soon. There are no glass ceilings here in this company. Individuals just like Patrina are very top leaders, very top income earners in the very highest positions are women. Many of our best advisors are women. That's something we're super proud of. But beyond that, when we talk about an equal opportunity for all and a diverse field force, when you look at the strength of our company, when you look at the fact that you can start part-time, when you look at the fact that you're able to get the great training and mentoring that you don't need any financial services experience, you look at the power of our platform, this Amazon Prime-like platform, you look at all these great things that we have in place that strengthen our platform for somebody on a part-time or a full-time basis. The greatest strength that we have of all is the diversity of our agency, the diversity of our company. There's a lot of companies in the marketplace these past 90 days that are writing checks and creating marketing slogans trying to tell you how diverse they are. Here's what we know as a company. We decided over 3 decades ago that if we want to serve the needs of a diverse community, we have to be as diverse as the community that we serve. Here's what you're going to find inside of our organization. You're going to find young people in their mid-20s to late 20s to early 30s. And you know who they're great at connecting with and relating to and communicating with? Other people in their mid to late 20s and early 30s. We have people in their 40s and 50s, and they're great at relating with people in their 40s and 50s. We have baby boomers in their 50s and 60s that are great at connecting with other baby boomers. We've got men and women. If you look within our company, we don't have a few. We have entire divisions of African Americans. We have entire divisions of Hispanics. We have entire divisions of people from China and with an Asian background. We have entire divisions of people from Southeast Asia and India. We have entire divisions of people speaking multiple languages and bringing these ideas and bringing these solutions to real American families. Our diversity is our greatest strength, and it's people like you that didn't have a background in this industry, people like you that said, hey, I love the idea of helping people. I love the idea of really learning about this stuff for my family, that have made a decision to be a part of our organization. It's almost like I've described it before, like it's almost like Uber. Uber came into an industry that had been around for a long time. And Uber came in and took a non-traditional approach to a very old traditional industry, and Uber changed that industry forever. How did they do it? 2 ways I would suggest. 3 ways. 1, they saw inefficiencies in the marketplace that they were able to take care of. 2, they recruited a whole bunch of new people to that industry that would have never been a part of the old industry. If you think about friends or family or people you know that drive for Uber or Lyft, They would have never filled out an employment application to work for a taxi cab company. And yet they happily drive for Uber or Lyft. Why? Uber found inefficiencies in the marketplace, and they recruited these new people to be a part of the industry that wouldn't have been a part of the old industry. And then lastly, Uber changed the compensation system and redirected resources towards those end users, towards those individual drivers, and gave them much greater autonomy. It changed the industry forever. We're like the Uber of financial services. We're recruiting a whole bunch of new people to the industry that would never consider being a part of the financial services industry. We've changed compensation to direct it towards people. And then we've got these training systems in place and this platform in place that solves a whole bunch of inefficiencies in the marketplace. Next slide, please. I want to share with you a little bit about how we get paid and then just a couple of testimonials. So our compensation program, if you look at senior marketing directors, who are senior marketing directors? That is an entry-level supervisor's position. Entry-level supervisor's position. So this is through 2018. Obviously, the company has grown since then, but this is the most recent data that the company provides us. So through the end of 2018, if you look at our average senior marketing director, our average entry-level supervisor, they're making just over $64,000 a year. Our average entry-level supervisor or senior marketing director that has all of the licenses that we prefer to get in this industry, the average is making $86,000 a year. Here's what I looked at when I saw this 21 years ago. Number one, I've never been average at any job I've ever held. I've never been the best, but I've never been average. I've always showed up early, worked late, been a hardworking guy, like I'm sure most of you are. I've always been somebody that's dependable, that the boss could count on, like I'm sure most of you are. And so I knew I wouldn't be average. I also guessed I probably wouldn't be the highest, but my guess was, I'm probably going to be in the upper 15 or 20% like I am with just about every job I've held since I was 13 years old. And so the average is good, but I'm probably going to be above whatever that average is. Now, Patrina and Harriel before her introduced me as a CEO marketing director with the company. The average CEO earns just a little over $350,000 a year. The top CEO earns $2.9 million a year. Myself and my leadership team is working on an executive vice chairman promotion right now. We believe that by November 30th, we'll be able to achieve that. When we do, the average executive vice chairman in our company right now is earning about $823,000 a year. So that's exciting. None of those possibilities existed for me when I was with Verizon or AT&T. I just wasn't that kind of a guy. I wasn't going to happy hour with the right people. I wasn't golfing with the right people. Like I didn't have an MBA from the right school. I wasn't viewed that way. I worked hard. I was dependable. I was trustworthy. But I just wasn't in that crowd. And when you're in a big company, you know who has those kinds of opportunities and you know pretty much who doesn't. On the right side here, real quick, 5 ways to earn income. We have over a dozen different ways that we pay our associates. I want to highlight 5 of them. One is personal income. When you sit down with a client and you're able to create one of these financial plans, a financial GPS, and you're able to lower their cost of insurance or increase the rate of return on their investments or put their investments in a safer place that grows even more or reduce their taxes nationwide. Like if you place that business with Nationwide, they pay our company a fee and our company pays you a fee. So that's personal income when you sit down with clients and help them. Agency income is when you're supervising people. When you're helping us to supervise and manage and train people, you get paid agency income. Expansion income. As we open up new offices, and we're growing at a really rapid rate right now, as we open up new offices in new communities, in new cities, in new states, there's expansion income that comes with that from the company. Bonus income. I don't know about you, but anytime I drive through, there's a chance to get the bonus size of fries instead of the regular size of fries. Give me the bonus. The bonus is always better, right? So bonus income is anytime any one of our agents on a monthly basis exceeds what's expected of them. You exceed it, you get the bonus, which I love. And there's 4 different bonuses given out every single month. Lastly, recurring income. What is that? You may have heard of passive income before. You may have heard of residual income before. That's what recurring income is. In our industry, there's been passive residual income since the beginning of the industry. What our company does is an unbelievable job of passing that residual income onto our agents. So year after year after year, when you've been here a year or 3 or 5 or 10 years, what begins to happen is you build up this massive passive residual income of all the clients that you've helped over the years. And for a lot of people, it creates this this foundation of income that's just consistent week after week, month after month, whether you're working hard or not. That's why it's always been an attractive industry for professionals. But secondarily, we're picking up a lot of people that spent 30 years in one industry and they're looking for an encore career. They're looking to do something in their 50s and their 60s before they retire. And what they find is this residual income can become a great supplemental income for them in their retirement. So I want to highlight a couple of people real quick, and then we've got a quick poll for you. This is our local leadership team just in Southern California. What you see in the top two rows there is those individuals are executive marketing directors, as I showed on the slide. They're CEO marketing directors or executive vice chairmen. As I look across there, all of those people are making $300,000 or more. We've got $500,000 earners up there. We've got $750,000 earners on there. We have several $1 million a year earners in our local leadership team, just in the top two rows there. As I look at the bottom 5 rows, those are all $100,000 and above earners. Many of them $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 a year. Here's what I want you to look at. Money's not everything, right, is what they say, but it's right up there with oxygen. We need it to live. So it's okay to make money. There's nothing wrong with making money. But here's what I want you to see. I want you to take a good look at that poster. Look at the diversity. Look at the diversity of ages, genders. Look at the diversity of ethnicity. Just look at the diversity of that. It's a great example of who we are. And we need more people to help us with this crusade of really fixing the injustice in the middle class marketplace. Next slide, please. I want to highlight a couple of individual couples. This is Steve and Carol Adams. They'll be mad at me for saying this. I've worked with them for years and years and years in my local office. There's as you see here, there's 6-figure income earners. They earn about 130 every single year. That picture of the right is them today. They're 76 years old. Here's what I know. Most people earning $130,000 a year are working like 60, 70 hours a week. I promise you, Steve and Carol at 76 aren't working 70 hours a week or 60 hours a week or 50 hours a week or 40 hours a week. They're enjoying their retirement, but they love helping people. They love being in an environment working with young people. They love sharing their knowledge and experience with young people. And they love working with retirees and pre-retirees and helping them plan their retirement. They're a wonderful asset. They've been married over 50 years, and they're just an important part of our leadership team. The next couple I want to highlight for you is Rachel and Quentin O'Connell. Rachel and Quentin were working at a grocery store in Colorado Springs, Colorado called King Supers. Yes, that's a real place. And they worked together there. In between the two, neither one of them had a college degree. They were just working a job in a grocery store, and they got started with us close to 20 years ago. And between the two of them at the grocery store, they were making about $55,000 a year. Their two incomes combined. And this past year, Rachel and Q earned over $300,000 with us, no college degree. And certainly you look at Rachel and Quentin on the left, that's the couple that got started with us. That's what they looked like then. And I'm just beaming with pride because they're a part of my team and my agency as well. You look at the couple on the right there, that's what they look like today. And you can tell it's not just that they've earned more money, but I think visually you can tell just by looking at the picture how much these two people have grown as individuals. You can see the confidence that they have, the warmth that they have. And the reason that they're earning so much is because of the great difference that they've made in their communities. They do so much to help their parents. They do so much to help their children financially. And they have become literally the go-to people in their family. Just a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful couple. One more couple I want to highlight real quick, and then we'll finish. Last couple, also like two of my best friends in the entire world, Nikki and Kermit Cannon. Nikki, when she first got started with me, she worked at monster.com, that company that helps with placement services and resumes and so forth. And she had no experience in the industry, just like Rachel and Quentin had no experience, just like Steve and Carol. And she got started with us on a part-time basis. And today is an executive marketing director running her own office, has a number of brokers that she's individually trained and developed over the years. Matter of fact, during the quarantine, so many people got furloughed or got their hours cut, or got Nikki over just the course of April and May. In just 2 months, our company paid her over $100,000 over the course of 2 months, April and May. She was she was already intelligent and talented when she got started with us, but our training programs and the systems that we have in place have just given Nikki a platform to just shine. And it's just incredible the job that she's done here and the difference that she's made in her community, and what outstanding citizens her and her husband Kermit are, and what great, great family people they are. We are traveling to the island of St. Martin at the end of July with both Nikki and Kermit and Rachel and Quentin on a company sponsored trip. And we're looking forward to spending time in a villa with them for a little bit over a week in St. Martin. Last slide, please. I'm going to end where Patrina got started on the left here. Do you know someone who could benefit from this message? Two colleagues of mine are going to be walking through this presentation this Thursday evening, and then two additional colleagues this Saturday morning. We're growing like crazy right now. The quarantine has helped our business to grow. Quite frankly, people realize that they need to get their money in order. They need help. They need their money working harder for them. They're no longer willing to tolerate losses in the stock market and their retirement plans. They're no longer willing to tolerate spending too much money on insurance. They're no longer willing to tolerate being in investments that they're getting set up for a tax trap down the road. So if you know somebody that would be interested in just listening to us, we're going to have a similar presentation this Thursday and one again Saturday morning. Number two, is there something that Patrina talked about, like about these indexed accounts or these tax advantaged accounts or this financial GPS? Is there something that she mentioned or that you'd like more information about, that you'd like to get your hands on some more information, you'd like to learn more about, you've got some questions about? We didn't have time tonight to get into a ton of detail, but if there is, let us know. And then third, are you intrigued by the business? Are you intrigued by supplementing your income, a couple of $1,000s a month on a part-time basis, or perhaps making a career transition if the money is right? If so, I want to encourage you to reach out to one of our agents, the agent that invited you, and they can put you in touch with a broker in your local community. You can have your questions answered and get access to the information you're looking for. We're going to drop down a poll here, I believe. Maybe we already did and I just can't see it. And pull, quite simply, just click on the box here and we'll finish up. I'm interested in learning about financial solutions. I want to learn some more about this. I want to learn some more about where I can invest and not risk losing any money, or where I can grow my rates of return, or where I can minimize tax. I want to learn more about supplementing my income, or going out and making a six-figure income for the first time in my career if I can. Or I'm interested in none of the above. I'm like the happiest I've ever been, and I was just here to support somebody. We appreciate you. Maybe you've got some referrals that you can send to us. Maybe somebody else is not as in great of a situation as you, or you're an associate already. I want to thank you on behalf of our local leadership team and on behalf of our company for joining us tonight. I hope we shared some ideas with you that made sense. And I hope we open up your eyes. I know we can all get so busy and caught up in the routines of daily life and our week after week after week. I hope we encouraged you, Patrina and I, today to just consider sitting down with somebody, asking some questions, and just really getting a handle on this stuff. Your family's financial future matters. Your family's income matters. And we'd cherish the opportunity to help you learn about some strategies that might make that all a little bit easier for you. Appreciate you so much. Have a terrific week, everybody.